Chapter 18. Into the Wild. When I set out upon the journey that became this book, I promised to tell my story, the whole truth in all its glory, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The way I see it, we've spent enough time on the bad and the ugly. Let's get back to the good. Life is a cycle. Everything that goes dark can become light again. I'm living proof that you can turn a negative into a positive. And so are all of my brothers. My mission here has been nothing but that. Hear me when I say this. If you don't want to turn bad things into good in your life, you never will. It must come from within you, and you must want it with all of your heart. The most beautiful and most difficult thing about being human is that you manifest what you want in your time on earth. So be careful what you wish for. One of the most important changes I've ever made was my decision to convert to Islam. Being a 5%er had been the right thing for me as a boy. The 5% nation was a gift to me when I really needed one. The knowledge and the brothers who served it to me were the fathers I never had. I took that wisdom into my life in what I would consider the correct way. But I began to get disillusioned, not by the teachings, but by some of my fellow followers. I found myself around dudes who used the knowledge as a shield and a filter for their reality, rather than applying the lessons to their lives. They were more into being identified as a 5%er than learning and living the lessons. I saw myself apart from them. I identified as someone who was willing to die for what I believed in, like loyalty and family, and for what I knew in my heart to be real, like a higher power. The more popular it became in hip-hop culture, the more I encountered too many loose interpretations of the knowledge that didn't jibe with my point of view. I decided to leave the half-truths behind so I could get serious about my religion. As I grew into manhood, I realized that becoming a Muslim was where I needed to be. I converted in 2009 at the age of 39. Becoming a Muslim, having that faith and the desire to give back and grow, was a yearning I couldn't deny. Following that instinct is one of the most important things I've ever done. As I see it, the fundamental difference is this. The 5% nation preaches that every black man is God, while Islam preaches that there is only one God, Allah, and He accepts everyone. I worried about what my 5% and Wu brothers might say, but the guy who put my mind at ease was Papa Wu. He was Riz's older cousin, an honorary member of the group, and a very active 5%er all his life, until his death at 64 in 2019. He was one of the most spiritual men I'd ever known. He made appearances on a number of our records, from Cuban Links, North Star, Jules, to Wu-Tang Forever, Wu Revolution, and was always there to guide us with some wisdom through the years. When I told him about my change of heart and leaving the nation behind, he wasn't upset at all. "That's beautiful," he said. "When you look at religion, it boils down to, who is the Most High? Who do you love? Who do you give your attention to? 5%ers are gods. To the ones we provide for, the ones we bring food, clothing, shelter, and peace to. If you are giving that love to the one who allows you to do that for your own, then it's a part of the same belief, God." Papa Wu devoted his life to serving the nation until his dying day in 2019. To get his wisdom and acceptance meant so much to me. All I ever wanted was to look at the Most High in my life as the entity that gave me the blessing to be the man I am today. This has been a journey, and I've made mistakes, always striving to be better. I feel I've finally arrived at the image of self I've always held in my mind. The Most High walks alone, and making my transition to that understanding has been a beautiful thing. This clarity came to me the day a childhood friend of mine came home from jail. His name is Tyrese, and I've shouted him out on my records over the years. Growing up, this guy was a terror, on a different plane, unlike anyone I've ever known. It's no surprise that he did real time for many years. When he got back, he was somebody else because he'd converted to Islam. I saw such a transformation that I helped him get a job and get rehabilitated back into society and onto the path of reclaiming his life. While I did that for him, he enlightened me with the true teachings of Allah. We'd pray together, go to the mosque, and share the teachings. I'm proud to be a member of the largest religion in the world, one that doesn't discriminate. We are all brothers and sisters under Allah. The day I took my Shahada, I felt like I was growing from within. I felt like years of darkness were lifted from me, and I was shining in the way I always wanted to. Since that moment in 2008, the blessings have come faster and stronger than ever. I've taken my time learning the Quran. One thing I know to be true is that if you take one step toward Allah, He takes 10 steps towards you. I have felt that, and it's been the best thing I've ever done with my life. As a man in his 5th decade on earth, I can say this. All of the best elements of my character originated in my household, as troubled as it was. My mother taught me to treat people the way I wanted to be treated. And though I haven't always done so, I've grown to realize that she was right. If there is one lesson I hope to pass on to my children, that is it. My mother also had a sense of humor, a sense of community, a true heart, and a concern for others. And I'd like to think I have a piece of those things too. I love the life I've been allowed to live. I love that my ability as a rapper has given me so many gifts. But it hasn't been easy on my 3 children, because this life hasn't allowed me to be an everyday dad. When they were young, it was tough to explain to them why I couldn't be there all the time, and why I was constantly coming or going. Now that I'm established, nothing is more important than keeping a balance and being the best father I can be. My kids all have different personalities. Corey is outspoken, Jabari is an introvert, and Sakai is both. She's sweet as cotton candy, and it takes a lot for her to go off. But when she does, it's on. I love the challenges I face, getting myself on each of their levels. My children are going to create another generation from what I created, and that means something to me. I try to instill in them the wisdom I've learned, knowing that they will soon be even wiser than I am now. It's taken me years to form relationships with them, but I think we are all at a place where they understand the demands of my life and why I wasn't around as much as I'd like to have been. I'm happiest to be able to give my children the comfort to go out into the world and be whoever they want to be. All that my kids need to do is figure out what makes sense for them, and I hope I am the one they come to when they need guidance. If there is one thing I know, it's that the most important thing in this world is family.